go.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, well, 3, 2, 1.
All right. I heard the message that we are live, so welcome everybody to this BSG Online. I'm Satanic Nerd. I'm here with Tiny Tim, the host. Or not.
No, I'm here. Yeah, sorry, I'm
Right.
here.
Welcome back, Tiny Tim. You all right?
I'm doing very well, Satanic. First of all, thank you for this. Looking forward to this. Before we start, very quickly, could you give us a quick introduction to this game?
Well, yeah, the story is The Path of Destinies. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the other game, Omensight. It's a game where you pretty much repeat the same day to gain better or more knowledge about, in that game, the end of the world. In this game, it's more about becoming the hero, getting the girl, getting away safely to victory. So we'll be repeating the same day. That's the synopsis of the game. We will only go through one day in this category, though. This is the Any Truth, so we'll only find one truth out of the 20 odd there are. It's pretty much a hack and slash game. I'll just get right in it because there's an opening cutscene. Will it play?
Once upon a time, the infamous rover Reynardo plundered the floating isles. Then
Yeah, we'll be.
Just give us a countdown when you're ready for the timer.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. The timer starts when we gain movement. But there's first this cutscene which gives us the background story. This is an old pirate. We're basically a retired pirate. And we live in a village. We don't have a family, but we're fond of the people around us. And of course there's an emperor, but we don't care about that anymore. We're retired. And then suddenly he turns evil, pretty much, as in any story. The emperor goes mad with power. And that's a problem. So yeah, this game was made by Spearhead Games, which they are a development company. They've made Omensight as well, and they're currently working on Project Witchstone, which I'm also very interested in playing and maybe even speedrunning. So I'll be playing all their games. This kid in the book now, that's the kid we just here we need to protect because he has a very special book. You could have seen in the opening scene, we opened the book. That's pretty much the main menu, and it's pretty much also the book that this kid is carrying around. You see, his mother died, and we need to protect him, but he runs off like any teenager, agreeing with the rules set upon him. So timer starts when I start moving, which I will count down now. 3, 2, 1, go. And we're off. So this is the start of the game. You can already see the world around us. It's quite a pretty world. It's all in the air. We weren't a regular pilot. We were a pirate of pretty much a flying boat. This dialogue is an example of this game's banter. The fox just shouted towards the ravens, "Pick on someone as ugly as you," which might not be the most thought through comeback towards two enemies you could think of. Here we get our first combat ability, other than swinging our sword, which is the counter attack. So we're slowly getting more attacks we can do. The beginning is a bit RNG because of that, because we're very limited with what we can do with ravens. Ravens are the main enemy of this game. Here you can see the next ability is throwing. That's the main ability we'll be using, because either we throw a raven off the cliff and they die, because ravens cannot fly in this game. Or you can throw them on the ground, which leaves them open for a one-hit KO.
And the kid was on the other side of the gate.
This is where the game introduces us to hero swords. They're swords that allow us to open gates, and some also have, they all have a special ability. The hero sword we need for this gate allows us to heal, but healing is slow, and this is a speed run.
And with that, the kid hopped away.
There are different abilities as well.
Handed to the kid,
There's the fire ability, which gives you
but he had guts.
an AoE, a passive
Gonna
that,
get a hero sword.
not a passive, but an AoE that damages enemies around you.
Perfect.
And the cube I left there on the ground, since we don't have time to make those swords. We don't need that cube, but that's the cube that makes the wind sword, which increases your movement speed. But sadly, the resources are quite hefty for that sword, so it's not worth it to grab.
And then the ravens had come to burn her.
This category and this game in general doesn't really have a specific separation between glitchless and glitched, because there isn't much of it any. There are older patches where the throwing mechanic, which we just used, allows us to throw a raven to a platform where we shouldn't be able to reach during a fight. Like on this platform, we would be able to throw a raven over to the bunny and skip the fight, skip some fight and dialogue and cutscenes, but they patched that out, so there might be some possibilities to play on earlier patches, but that hasn't been explored much yet.
May I ask at this point a little bit about the category? You've got any truth here. Could you maybe explain a little bit about what that entails?
Yes, of course. So, making it to the ending of any of a day unlocks a truth. There's some information we get about the characters or the world or certain weapons that might help us on our path to our destiny. And we are basically going through the fastest day that is. So it's any truth, it doesn't matter which truth we get. Here, this truth, I'll not spoil it, but we'll see what truth it is. At the end of the day, there are 4 main characters in this game, and so there are 4 categories of truths you can get. You can get a truth which tells you something about Zenobia, which is the girl we want to get at the end of the day. It could tell us about Lupino, which we will see in a second. There are 4 categories of truths we could get to get the final truth. If we get in every category we get 1 truth, we basically have enough knowledge to go through the story without dying and getting the best ending. So we just skimmed over the fact that the kid we were trying to protect already died.
Next to it, with a buckle
Just
from the kid's shoes,
press F to pay respect.
king-sized pile of ashes.
And there you can see the book, the same book as in the menu.
And told the kid he'd take the book to the rebels. The kid would
So
be
this is
alive,
where the story picks off every time.
pissed off and betrayed.
This is the opening,
Alive.
and pretty much from this point on,
Renato picked up
this is where we repeat every day. We now have possession of the book, so if you open the book, you get the power to relive your story every time you die.
just to have a place to dock.
So that allows us to go back to the start of the story to find out what path we should be walking.
What was the big deal
And that's the
about
end of the
book anyway? Maybe
introduction of this game.
Find out.
I have to say that little description there was a little interesting. I don't know if anybody managed to spot it as it came up.
And now 3 ravens scourged the rebellion.
Which one specifically?
The little description about the kid-sized pile of ashes.
Oh yes, the kid-sized pile of ashes, yes. This game is also doesn't take itself too seriously. If you look in the patch notes of the final version of this game, one of the patch notes says, fixed an issue with banter, because in this game when there's a lot of idling or waiting, or if there's not much going on, this voice actor, who's brilliant, will throw in some random line of banter. I have run this game in the longer categories, you'll get a lot more banter then. And one of the line he just suddenly threw at me is, "You know nothing, Jon Snow." Which is just an example of the ridiculous banter this game has. So here we choose Lupino. That's pretty much the fastest story. We'll save Lupino and go on from there. Because Lupino is our
Apparently managed to confuse
our
the
old
judge by
buddy,
arguing
and here you can hear the narrator say
he'd only sold it.
he never stole a horse but sold it. You can hear a bit, he's a mischievous chap,
The village was empty.
But he is our war buddy, so we will help him, save him,
Had everybody fled the
and
ravens?
he apparently has a plan to win the war. So that's also a reason to save him. Because as you saw in the opening, Reynardo, our main character, isn't that smart. He told two ravens, fight someone who is as ugly as you. So we rely on others to be smart for us. To the left you can actually see a red door. That's another door for the flame sword, the one with the AoE effect. But getting extra swords is slow in this game, so sadly we won't see them.
He wasn't that good.
There we see another level up altar, but we're not good enough yet to level up. The narrator even says that, we're not good enough yet. Here's another mandatory fight cage, and here you'll see me throwing ravens into each other. If they get close enough, there we go. Because then you can knock down two at once. And there we go. So those are the type of gates that block us from progressing to the next area, but sometimes what happens is, with the old patch you could throw an enemy past that gate and then follow him up with one of the killing blows, which would allow you to go out of bounds and skip the fight. Finally we get some more movement. Yeah, that's been patched out. I found that and they patched it out in the final version.
A quick question about the camera here, the camera angle, is that fixed? Is that something you can adjust? It seems to be...
No, I think don't remember trying to move it. I can... Yeah, it's fixed. The other analog stick doesn't do anything. So I was actually practicing this earlier on, and as you can see I already got hit. And I was talking with Captain GMV about this. There is a skill that allows you to go a bit faster. Oh, that's bad RNG that he already attacked. Oh, here. You want to throw him forward, it's a bit faster. But I got this level up a bit late, which means there's an upgrade to walk faster, and I now missed on it. And this morning it was the first time I messed up the first section, and I told Captain that, and he was like, I'm gonna ask in Twitch chat why you're so slow. And now it happened for the second time ever that I got hit in the first section, and now I don't have the speed upgrade. It's a small upgrade to speed, but I'll be a bit slower walking, just a bit. We'll be mostly dashing, so it doesn't matter that much, but it's still a bit slower. Here you'll see a cursor, because clicking with the mouse on the bottom option is faster than moving the controller. So yeah, Lapino told us we need to get a weapon, which we're going after now, because that weapon could win us the war.
When you've got time for a donation, just let me know.
Yeah, sure. Now's a good transition period.
Okay, fantastic. Right, we've received a €10 donation from Shadowfrost, who says, with the incentive of Link to the Past already met, I've got to let this go to a different one. I doubt you can catch this flyer this early in the game, so I'll have to just name it after the best flyer. Good luck everyone in the marathon. And that goes towards naming the file name. For Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Skarmory.
Of course. So here you see me trying to throw ravens off the edge if I'm close enough to the edge. Then you don't need to administer the final killing blow, which is faster. This is another short day. We pretty much just teleported into the temple, which holds the core to one of the strongest weapons in the game.
They would look like these monstrous crystals. Forest, quiet. We're insects. A few birds. He didn't catch the ravens. Bernardo smoked sick animals and dying ones. No health. I'm getting a bad feeling about this.
Have we got time for a quick word?
Yeah, sure. We'll be entering a cutscene again. Yep.
Okay, cool. So, as that donation just mentioned, we have actually met our first incentive that we were aiming for. We do have another one that isn't until later on in the marathon. It's actually tomorrow morning. But I would like to bring it to everybody's attention so at least we're aware of it. This is an incentive that you need to put towards if you want to see it. And what it is going the incentive for Shovel Knight King of Cards, and it's the King Knight, and it's the changing jump and dash colours. So every time you jump or dash, King Knight changes colour. And trust me, it messes with the runner. It really does make things quite challenging. So if you want to see that, we need 100 euros for that. Plenty of time. But so if you want to see that, and I assure you it's well worth it, then please get your donations in. Thank you.
As Lupino vanished into the wilds of the Nexus.
So now we have the movement ability, we just upgraded it twice, so we'll be fastest we need. Yeah, but that donation incentive for Shovel Knight, the Bravo will be doing that, if I'm correct, and definitely want to put him through that.
He was already feeling better.
So, in the beginning there you saw another example of how Lupino is a bit mischievous. He said, I'll protect the core with my life, as if it were my daughter. And so we separated, he left with the core, we're going after the observatory. There's a fight trigger here which I can walk around. Walls please. I walked around it, nice. So here we just skip the fight. There we go. Yeah, he says he'll take care of it as if it were his daughter. And then we remember he actually had a daughter and left his daughter. So we're not sure how trustworthy he is with our core. But that's not our worry, because the core is dangerous and we are not burdened with it now, thankfully. In the coming up fight we'll be introduced to a new enemy. Not here yet. Oh, the ravens didn't fall off the edge, that's sad. So here we'll be introduced to the fire, the mage, pretty much. You can see during this cutscene you're actually only slowed down, you're not paused, so you can buffer these actions. And that's another part of this truth done. We now have the outpost, which pretty much is the military base of the Emperor. Farspeaker toads are pretty much like radios in this game. Lupino failed in his mission, which is sad. He's our friend, but he's not that good at fighting, it seems. So yeah, that cutscene bit where they slow down your game, that has been notorious for bugs, because sometimes it would carry over into gameplay, which pretty much forces you to quit the game and reload, because it's very slow.
There were Imperials everywhere.
It's very sad in this run we don't get to see much more banter, because on these elevators which we have, there are plenty of banter surrounding these elevators. There's one where if you want a special massage you can call this number. There's another one which has "Praise the Sun" etched into the side of it, which is another nice nod towards other games. Right, the following section.
Sorry to interrupt. I must say the art style is very, very good. It's different. Yeah. It's got quite its own unique flavour, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's a bit like, well, also like Omensight. They're similar, and it's also funny because the Omensight, pretty much a lot of fans ask the question: are they in the same universe? Because they're both animals in human form. And actually Omensight has a passive voice line for one of the characters which mentioned, "Have you heard the story of a sky pirate?" which is pretty much our character in this game. Yeah, the style is really interesting. Alright, that's that fight done. You can see on the left all the combos and everything. And there's actually a mechanic in this game where if you get above 30 combos or 20 combos, you get a perfect slash, which is pretty much a one-hit KO for any enemy. So in the any % category, well, where we'll be going through 4 different truths to find out the real truth, and then use the real truth to get the correct ending. That's basically our main weapon, because who doesn't want to kill enemies with one hit? That seems to be the fastest way to go about it. Here's another cutscene which takes a bit more time. We can't skip this, sadly. We have asked the devs to allow us to skip them. Some cutscenes should be skippable, and you can see in the bottom right it shows press B to skip, but then it sadly doesn't work. If you have any donations lined up, or any beautiful donation incentives.
Well, as I said earlier on, we do have the Shovel Knight King of Cards incentive, but I would like to remind everyone that we are the Benelux Speedrunner Gathering. We organise bi-monthly gatherings in the Benelux for speedrunners. Due to the situation, however, surrounding COVID-19, we're currently doing our first BSG online event, with streamers from both the Benelux and the rest of the world bringing you entertainment during the lockdown. For this edition of BSG, we're raising money for the Red Cross. In these difficult COVID-19 times, they do ensure that all the people in need receive the help that they require. The Red Cross does this by offering practical help, like shopping, transportation of patients, collection and distribution of medical devices, but also through social media for providing us with the information that we need. The Red Cross continues tirelessly to help as many people as possible.
So here's another fight skip we can do. It's very tight. Yeah. Whoa. I'm dropping frames. This is not good. My connection just died.
Right, okay, don't panic. We'll keep going just now.
Well, I died. That's one thing that happened. Because I was distracted by my frames dropping, but we're back. So let's see if I can get this fight skip again. Let's see if I can get it this time. Yeah, there we go. Because you have to be very close to the edge, but edges have been programmed weirdly in this game. There were some bugs with edges as well. If you dash off an edge in a corner, you would fall off the world. As some of you might have noticed, if you look at my health, it's forever decreasing. Wait, that's a bug. As some of you, the combat report just showed up twice. That's not a known bug. It showed up before the final enemy was dead. But yeah, we regained the core. There's another fight you can skip here. And the core is actually damaging us. It's such a powerful weapon that we don't have control over it, which makes combat in this section also a bit more difficult, because we're always getting lower on health.
If they were going to name a capital city after him.
So yeah, there's a lot more banter in this game, which we sadly will not hear in this run. If you die, I just died, but sadly we didn't get the dialogue. There is some banter which says, "I was promised cake, where's my cake?"
I like it.
There's another one which has to do with Lupino the bunny, the rabbit, which says it's rabbit season. And then one more, there's one story where we get obsessed with power. Might not be a good ending for us, but in that ending there is such killing, much wow, is mentioned in the dialogue. And it's the way the narrator says it. He says it with such conviction. Such killing, much wow. This is actually the final fight already.
Alright, okay. May I ask quickly, how long would this game be normally casually to complete all the way through?
Oh, about 20 hours maybe, because there's a lot of truths, but you don't need all of them to complete the game. That was actually a pretty good final fight. So time ends when the game stops moving, or when there's a switch in camera, which will be in now. So that's time. Or casually 20 hours or so, depending on how far you want to get into the story. If you want to only find the true ending, which is the any percent category, then it would be about 10 hours maybe. Depending on if you get duplicate stories, of course, because some stories lead to the same truth, the same information. But if you want to find all of them, well, that takes a bit more.
Well, that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. Any final words?
No, I want to thank Spirit Games for making this game and making Homicide. They're all great games. Oh, here's a quick overview of all the possible endings you could get. We just got Reynardopolis. No, and I want to thank BSGO for letting me open this run. I was kind of curious what my time is, because I don't see the timer on my end.
Okay, you've received a time. You got a time of 21 minutes and 1 second.
21 minutes, 1 second, alright. Yeah, I died, so that's to be expected. Yeah, thank you for having me. I will be watching this marathon, and I hope you all have had fun with this run and have fun with the rest of the marathon. That's it for me.
Thank you very much, Satanic.